Alright, let's try this again. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time it is you're watching this. I'd like to welcome everybody to the 2022-2023 Fantasy for Freaks Fantasy Football League. This is a 12-person PPR league, now going into our third year. I'm extremely excited. I want to thank everybody, both returning and new, for being a part of this league. I think I go without any introduction, but I am, in fact, the commissioner of our league. And so if you guys got any questions, you guys got any concerns or comments or whatever, direct them at me. I will be more than happy to accommodate in whatever way that I can. I apologize if this video is kind of just rancid and just awful and I can't coherently put sentences together. I'm just getting off work, and if I do forget anything during the video, I'll probably just chop it in at the end. Basically, as commissioner, I've been assigned to make this video as an introduction, sort of just reiterating the rules of our league, going over the new features, and at the end of the video, just kind of doing the live lottery draft, so that we all know what the draft order is going to be. So stay tuned, and hopefully this is somewhat of a not long video that takes time out of your day. Anyway, so let's start off with the buy-ins for this year. I've increased the buy-in amount from to $50 per person, or per team, I should say. Basically, how that'll math out is that third place will not pay anything; they just get their money back. Second place wins $100, which is basically just $50, and you keep your money. And then the grand prize is $450. Additionally, this year, I've added a $100 incentive to whoever scores the most total points throughout the regular season. Only the regular season, the playoff points will not count towards that. So, of course, you can win the total point incentive as well as the grand prize, and we would just combine the amount of money from those two. So, I think that's it for that. As far as divisions go, we've switched from 3 4-person divisions to 2 7-person divisions, just because there's really no way to make it even otherwise with 14 people. And so, because of that, basically how it's going to work is I have already set the 2 divisions, who is in the 2 7-person divisions. I won't remember off the top of my head who it is, so if you want to know what division you're in, just head onto the Fantasy app. You can take a look on there. How that'll work with playoffs then as well with 14 people is that we will have a 10-person playoff instead of an 8-person last year. And with the 10-person playoff, that means that it's going to have to be 4 weeks long instead of 3. And that will cut down our regular season by 1 week. So the regular season will, because we don't do the final week of the season, week 18 is we're done week 17, because we don't want people sitting out. You know, sometimes football teams will sit some of their starters if they've already clinched a playoff berth. And so we don't want anyone to get screwed over in the finals because of that. So only 17 weeks, and if 4 are the playoffs, that means that only 13 weeks will be our regular season. With a 14-person league, that means everybody will have the opportunity to play each other one time. So that works out perfectly, having then the 4-week playoffs. Basically, the first week of the playoffs is going to be a play-in tournament, and I'll explain kind of how that'll work in a second. And then the following 3 weeks after that will be just the 8-person playoffs. So with the divisions, how it's going to work is the top 3 performers in the East and the West division are going to get a bye week in the first week of the playoffs. How the 4th and 5th seed in both divisions will then be part of the play-in tournament I mentioned earlier, and that'll be week 14 of our season. Basically, the 4 and 5 seed from these will play in that week, and that'll pretty much be the only games that matter that week. And I apologize that kind of cut some people out, but that's just the way it's going to have to work. And then obviously they'll play only 2 people out of those 4 will make it in, and then the 8 playoff teams will continue weeks 15 through 17. Obviously, that means that whoever is 6th and 7th place in both divisions will be eliminated after week 13 from winning anything, unless some miracle happens that you score the most points and somehow miss playoffs. I don't see that being possible. I think that's all I wanted to cover as far as that goes. Past that, most of the scoring is remaining unchanged. If you want to know how a player can score points, you can go check on the fantasy app as well. There is I think it's in settings or somewhere, you can find literally more information than you need about what can be scored by a player. As I mentioned, we are a PPR league. We are full point PPR, so that's 1 point per reception. Anyone, obviously, who can receive the ball, that includes quarterback. Quarterback can make a reception, so there is that going for it. As far as things like draft go, like I've said, we're going to be doing a lottery draft this year. I kind of wanted to have a just kind of a way to prevent it being 100% based on your standings from the final year, just because that can encourage just throwing at the end of the year. And I was a little lenient last year, some of you might remember, but it is my expectation this year that everybody is putting in their best players, the people that they think can perform the best, every week in and week out throughout the season, even if you're out of the running. Just because even if you're out of the running, it can screw with other people, and nobody should get a free win because of that, because, the other person's throwing. And so, as I've said, if someone is found to be throwing games, or if there's any collusion that is going on behind the scenes, and it's found out about, obviously I'm going to have to kick you out of the league. I don't really see that being a problem, but I do have to mention it regardless. And that brings me into my next talk. Oh, actually, one more thing about the draft is that I have changed from 120 seconds to 90 seconds for playoff picks in the draft this year. Just with 14 people, I wanted to shorten it down a little bit, just so that the draft isn't absurdly long. Anyway, that brings me into the next point I wanted to bring up about the fantasy committee. This is a new thing that I wanted to bring to the league this year, just sort of because we had, don't want to say problems, but just like hiccups last year where someone had a concern or something and they brought it to me. I made a ruling on it as the commissioner, and there are times where people just don't agree with what my final what's the word I'm looking for? My final decision on the matter is, basically. So what the committee is I've hand-selected people to be part of this committee, and they will have pretty much 2 functions. If there's a problem, you bring it to me. I will make a ruling on the problem. If you don't agree with what I have brought forth, then we can bring it to the committee. The committee will be made up of 3 people, and those 3 people will talk about it, and they will come to a voted decision on a final decision, basically. So my word doesn't have to be the final word. Basically, people in the league can also have a final word in it. Secondly, what they will do is, last year we had a problem with people vetoing votes for trades. This is a feature that is just part of fantasy, and I don't think that it's something worth getting rid of, because there are times where I accidentally ended the video there, so I'm just going to cut this back in. Anyway, basically there are times where votes may seem unfair, and they've just got to be, vetoed by the league. I understand that this is something that's going to happen, and I want to encourage people to continue vetoing votes that they think, trades that they think are not fair. But as a caveat to that, the committee can, if a vote is vetoed, it will go to the committee, and the committee will make a vote based on that. well, I mean, as with the rulings that I make, this is only if there's a dispute. Only if the person who made the trade believes that, hey, I think this is unfair that it got vetoed, they bring it forth, and then the committee will make a vote based on that trade. And whatever the committee decides on is going to be final. There's not really going to be any ifs, ands, or buts about it. If it's not what you agree with past that, then tough tits, man. I mean, that's the best we can do. So basically, how the committee is, I've selected Bailey, Marcus, and Trent to be part of the committee. And then, so if you guys could just let me know, like in the group chat, whether that's cool or not that you're part of the committee, I'd appreciate that, because I don't want you to, be part of it if you're like not trying to be as involved. I totally get that. That's totally cool. But in case any of the three of those guys are either not willing to be part of it or are somehow involved in one of these disputes, then I have selected also Ryan to be our kind of alternative for the committee. So, like I said, if anyone is involved in it, they obviously can't make a final decision on the matter, so the alternative is going to be Ryan. Also, please let me know also if that's cool with you, Ryan. If for some reason two people are involved, I'll find somebody else. And then also I don't make a decision, but I'd like to be involved in just hearing out the process. So I can't be like an alternative, but I will be in conversation, just kind of letting people know the decision that I came to and my thought process behind that. Anyway, I think that is all that I wanted to cover. Like I said before, first off, if there's anything that I missed, I'll chop it in after this video. And secondly, if anyone's got questions about anything at all in the league, I know some of this isn't a very great overview, but I just kind of expect that most people remember what the hell is going on. But if you don't, you can hit my line, let me know. I will gladly answer any questions you've got. I think that's all. So adios. Okay, so here we are. This is our lottery draft, and I'd like to just kind of explain how it works before I generate it. And obviously I haven't generated it yet, so that you can see that I am not tampering with this at all. So no collusion on my part. Anyway, so how this works is it is a weighted lottery draft, and the number you'll see next to the teams indicates just how many, technically balls are in the draft for you. Usually how a lottery draft works is they would just have a certain number of balls for every team in a giant spinner. They'd spin the thing, pick out the ball, and that's the team that gets the pick. Obviously, I don't have a giant ball spinner, so we can't do this legit, so random number generator it is. Anyway, you'll see, as I said, the number next to the team is how many balls are in your team. Campster Dude took last place overall last year, and therefore he has the highest chance of getting the first pick. That does not guarantee that he will get the first pick, though. As far as the two newbies go, I wanted to make sure that there was a fair chance for them. So I put them right in the middle of everybody, and they've got the exact same chance, just to make it fair. The 6 performers who did the worst last year are above them, and the 6 who did the best last year are below them, as indicated here. You'll see I've kind of got just a thing going with bottom 3 are within 1, the next 3 are within 2, they're at 3 away, and then 4, and 5, and Campster Dude with the 6 to have the optimal. So we're going to generate this now, and we will take a look and see where luck lies. I apologize, and I welcome for some of you, because there's definitely going to be somebody who gets screwed over and somebody who gets very lucky here. So here we are, just generated it. These are the 14 picks, and let's take a look. We'll start at the top. We'll start right away with pick 1 here. We'll see what team it is. Still a lot of packages. Mr. Koi is going to be our number 1 pick for the year this year. I apologize, Campster Dude, that the numbers weren't on your side. I mean, you had the numbers, but it just did not want to work for you. Number 2, Campster Dude. You get to move 1 spot, so that's pretty good.
Pick number 3 here are the Nard Dogs. I believe they were set up to get that pick anyway, so that's not going to be much of a change for them. Slug a lot of packages, I think, was projected to be 4th, so it's a good move up for him. But number 4 is California Blaster. That's a little bit screwed over. So far, nothing too out of the ordinary yet, so I'm very grateful for that. Oh! Oh! Whoa! 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 And that is freaking. This is gonna look so staged, but I swear to God, this is the only time I've recorded this. That's pretty crazy, dude. I'm not. Wow, I'm actually blown away. Cowabunga moment. That's me. That is me. Pick number 5. Did not expect that at all. Pick number 6, the Wampin Walruses. That's about standard. They were right about in the middle of the pack, so that just kind of makes sense. Pick number 7 here, Titty Sprinkles. Wow, right side by side. Works out perfectly with that one. 6 and 7 right there. That's pretty cool. Anita BJ, pick number 8. Congratulations on that. It's a few spots down, but you can't really complain about pick number 8. Mount Gargalon at pick number 9. That's looking a little suspect. He was a little bit higher up. Kind of sucks to get that low, but that's not terrible. Could be worse. Appleton Ass Eater is looking at pick number 10 here. Also, just kind of right in the ballpark of where you were. It's looking like Dr. Dong is going to get a bit of a short stick here for this one. And, ooh, he's not going to get pick number 11 either. So that's going to be Vic's Dog Pound picking up number 11 here. Pick number 12, Little Freebies. Dr. Dong, really not going to like this one. Team goes to Dr. Dong, which inevitably means the Sigma Squad will be the final pick as projected. Pretty standard for what the projections were to be. Really just my team, then a little bit of Dr. Dong getting a little bit screwed over, but that's just how it is. So these are the draft order, and so the mock draft season begins now.